the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
The Chicago Bears are close to making a huge decision at a key position battle on this roster. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So, Bears fans, first and foremost, happy Tuesday to every single one of you guys. It was another very successful padded practice for the Chicago Bears. And what I have been hearing and what I've been reading all over social media is that the pads have been popping. And it's just one of the things that Ben Johnson has already created here in Chicago. I'm just recreating that culture, that it was a very aggressive practice, right? I heard that Kyle Monangai trucked someone and, pads were definitely popping. I absolutely love the aggressiveness. Even though it's practice, it's still good to let the guys kind of play a little bit aggressively. And, thankfully, no one got hurt. So as long as no one is getting hurt, it's obviously really good news out of Chicago Bears training camp. A couple of things that I want to give you guys in regards to updates for this padded Chicago Bears practice today is that once again, we saw DJ Moore playing the running back position, which is obviously a nightmare for a lot of opposing defenses, because when you have a guy like DJ Moore in the backfield, it's going to cause a lot of mismatches. And obviously you could probably see Luther Burden back there. We're going to see DJ Moore a lot back there. So I think when you have guys like that can be very versatile and cause those mismatches, because usually when a receiver's in the backfield, or at least coming out of the backfield, that's going to force a linebacker to cover a guy like DJ Moore. So I know Ben Johnson has a lot up his sleeve, and we talked about it yesterday right here on the podcast. DJ Moore is in the perfect position to have probably one of his best seasons to date. And it's crazy to even say that, because DJ Moore has already had a lot of success in the Chicago Bears uniform. So I'm really excited to see how Ben Johnson plans to use DJ Moore in a variety of different ways. But obviously seeing Moore in the backfield definitely gets me excited as a Bears fan. Another quick update, Bears fans, on today's episode of Keek on the Mic is that Luther Burden was once again out there. He actually got chewed out by head coach Ben Johnson for not lining up properly. He actually pulled him for a quick second on one of the team drills, but then let him go back in there after, correcting his alignment issues. And obviously this is just another reason why I love Ben Johnson and the culture that he's setting. Every detail matters. That's something that Matt Eberflus and the former Chicago Bears coaching staff didn't really hone in on. And I think that has a lot to do with why the Bears really struggled with closing out games or having these fourth quarter collapses in the Matt Eberflus era, because he really didn't focus on the details. Every detail matters. You win and lose by the details. So I'm really happy that Ben Johnson is really nipping it in the bud now. So when we do get to that live action in the regular season, the players won't be making these constant dumb mistakes that can really hurt you and really determine if you're going to win or lose a lot of football games, right? So another thing that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention on today's episode of Keek on the Mic is just this quick little clip, because it was actually a beautiful sight to see that the offensive line, right, is looking really, really good. We heard that in one-on-one drills, the offensive line was definitely dominating. And then obviously in this clip that I'm showing you right now on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, it's just a very simple rep from Caleb Williams, but look how clean the pocket is, Bears fans. And that's something that I'm not used to as a Bears fan. I know that's not something that you guys are used to as Bears fans as well. We have not, seen a offensive line or at least analysts say the offensive line has looked dominant in practice or in the game. Obviously we hope that this translates to the football field when the regular season rolls around. And that's why Ryan Poles heavily invested into the offensive line to, really protect Caleb Williams and help him get to the next level. But when you see video clips like this of Caleb Williams having all the time in the world and can really step up into the pocket and make a big time throw downfield, it's really a beautiful sight to see. Obviously, in regards to Caleb Williams, he keeps making strides and continues to make progress. Had a couple of good throws today in practice. And once again, it's just going to continue to be a work in progress for Caleb Williams, learning Ben Johnson's offense, getting comfortable to what Ben Johnson's asking him to do. But it does seem that day by day, he is taking Ben Johnson's hard coaching and making, little steps every single day at practice. So once again, as long as he is taking all the information in from Ben Johnson and the rest of the Bears coaching staff and continues to make these strides, I think we should all be pleased as Chicago Bears fans, and we should all be hopeful that by time week 1 rolls around, he will be ready to play against the Minnesota Vikings. So Bears fans, one of the main things I wanted to bring to your guys' attention on today's episode of Keek on the Mic is that Ben Johnson actually revealed that they are close to making a decision, a big decision in regard to the left tackle battle going on in training camp. As we all know, the 3 guys that are fighting for that starting left tackle spot on this Bears offensive line is Karan Amagaji, the second year guy out of Yale. Of course, you have Braxton Jones, which is the veteran of the group, and then the newly drafted second round pick, Aji Trapillo. Obviously Ben Johnson and Dan Rochar have been doing their due diligence of making sure each and every single one of these guys are getting their reps with the first team offensive line. But it seems that Ben Johnson and Dan Rochar are getting close to making their final decision. And Ben Johnson made it very clear in the press conference today, before or after practice, that they want to make this decision prior to the very first preseason game on August 10th. And once again, I know a lot of Bears fans will say, well, that was really quick. Why won't they give them a little bit more time? Here's the reason why they want to make a decision as soon as possible. They want to make sure that they have their starting 5 offensive line as soon as possible, right? Because you want to make sure that they're all on the same page, that the communication is getting there with their quarterback and what Ben Johnson and Dan Rochar are expecting them to accomplish going into the new season. So obviously this is a situation where the sooner the better. And it seems that at the moment it could possibly be a 2-man race between Aji Trapillo and Braxton Jones. Obviously, Ben Johnson and, players on the offensive line have been raving about Aji Trapillo's maturity and how polished he is. And obviously he has that rare ability of athleticism for his size and pretty athletic and fast as well for his size. So I know there's a lot of coaches that love Aji Trapillo. I think for him, they're hoping that he can be a strong pass protector, which it seems like he's been having a lot of solid reps in training camp. But you really won't know where he's at. I truly believe until you have that joint practice, possibly with the Buffalo Bills. But then, of course, you have Braxton Jones that has returned from a season-ending injury from last season. He's also looked very strong in training camp so far. And then with Karan Amagaji, he's definitely got his opportunities as well. But I think it's going to be a 2-man race between Aji Trapillo and Braxton Jones. I think Aji Trapillo could very well be in a position to be the starting left tackle. But at the same time, if Braxton Jones has, returned and he's also looking strong, I could definitely see Ben Johnson and Dan Rochar going with Braxton Jones as well. But it's really, really close. I think they want to see maybe both of these guys in the joint practice with the Buffalo Bills to maybe see where they're at in regards to pass protection. Like we talked about, they both have the benefit of playing next to Joe Thuney, and obviously with Ben Johnson as a play caller, putting them in the best situation to succeed is also something that's going to help them as well be successful amongst this Bears offensive line. But it's a battle that we've been keeping a close eye on. I think it's very smart that Ben Johnson and Dan Rochar want to, end this battle, find a starting left tackle and making sure their starting 5 can start getting that continuity with each other and gain that communication and trust so they're prepared for that week 1 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. But Bears fans, let me know down below in the comment section who you believe will be named the starting left tackle on this offensive line. I can't wait to hear from you guys. But Bears fans, other than that, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. The other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic.